Welcome back to the AM show, and this is the news review segment. And joining me for this is Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante. Dr. Asah-Asante, welcome to the AM show. Kindly unmute and speak to us. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning and Happy New Year to you.
Good morning. I'm sure you can also hear me.
I can, loud and clear, perfect.
Many happy returns.
How was your Christmas?
Very quiet one, in the sense that we decided to be at home, do a few things academically, and then also reflect on the way forward as we enter 2024 with academic work and then with office work, as well as national politics. I took a deep reflection of all that, of course, thinking along with my family.
Right.
So I can say that all in all, I've had a better reflection and I'm poised for action this year.
Indeed. Action including what? What really has caught your attention lately?
Oh, strictly speaking, I am going to speak like the way I do all the time, but this time towards the vulnerable, the needy, the poor that we have neglected over the years. I want to also be part of the crusade to be able to preach message of peace and ensure that the little contribution that we have will be able to make towards making this democracy work and work for us. This means that election is critical, and that things that support electoral processes, I'm going to be part and parcel of that process. Things that bring violence, conflict, rancor, divisions, I will be part of the team that will help to get this out of our society and bring everybody on board so that we appreciate the benefits of democracy and that there will not be any day to a military regime over the path, that tight rope of democratic righteousness, so that one day we all will sit down, take a deep reflection, and say that we've made it. And that's my dream. And it's my hope and prayer that the good Lord will grant me the health, the ideas, and then the tenacity for purpose, so that I can also be part of this agenda.
Interesting. I think it's a good cause. Well, let's delve right into it, and we'll be doing the review on My Joy Online. We start with myjoyonline.com. And as we've already indicated, President Akufo-Addo has ordered an audit into the GRASML contract. This contract started brewing late last year, where the fourth estate investigated into their dealings. Dr. Asah-Asante, what do you make of the president's decision to audit this contract in this year?
Please, I think the line is not too clear. I'll be glad if you could.
I could repeat myself. Is it okay now?
Your question so that I know the import.
Right. Can you hear me now? Dr. Asante? Well, unfortunately, the lines have been interrupted, and we'll get back to Dr. Asah-Asante when we have him. But as we already indicated, President Akufo-Addo has ordered an audit into the Ghana Revenue Authority and the Strategic Mobilization Limited's contract, into the downstream petroleum sector. The audit will be conducted by KPMG and is slated to last for 2 weeks. A press statement by the presidency issued by the communications director, Eugene Ahin, outlines specific terms of reference for the audit. And like we earlier indicated, the terms of reference by the president includes a conduct to audit to ascertain the rationale or needs assessments performed prior to the contract approval by the GRA, and also assess how the arrangement aligns with specific needs. Also, that the appropriateness of the contracting methodology, verifying compliance with legal standards and industry best practices in the procurement process for the selection of SML, and also to evaluate the degree of alignment between the current activities and the stipulated contract scope, identifying any deviations, evaluate the value or benefit that SML has so far offered to the GRE through this engagement, and also to review the financial arrangements, including pricing structures, payment terms, and resolution of any financial compliance issues, and submit a report on their findings on the above, together with appropriate recommendations. And the President has given them 2 weeks to do so. And the President has also instructed that the Finance Ministry and the GRA provide KPMG with whatever assistance that they will require to conduct the audit, and then also directed the Finance Ministry and the GRA to suspend the performance of the contract pending the submission of the audit report, including any payments presently envisaged under its terms. And so those are the terms of references the President is looking forward to KPMG fulfilling. But we have Dr. Asante back on the line. Let's try him one more time. Dr. Asante, can you hear me now?
Yes, I think it's clear.
Wonderful. And
do you hear me too?
I do. It's clear. Yes, and so we're talking about the audit that the President had directed into the contract between SML and the GRA, and I'm asking you what you make of the President's decision at this time.
I believe that audit is normal, but the President should allow the process to go the way it ought to be. That is the way to go. If you read our Constitution, the preamble captures it clearly, and that we are interested in probity and accountability. So at all times, whenever there are things that raise questions, we should be able to allow a process that would dovetail into these principles in the Constitution that will allow for probity, that allows for accountability, and the rest of them. If we are able to do that, then we are in business, and we are in the business of governance, that we are allowing the process to take the natural course. Any other thing that will go against the process will constitute things that are not in the interest of the people. And remember, governance is nothing but the interest of the people. We need the people at all times. Democracy hinges on the people. Without the people, forget it. You don't have a democracy. So it is my hope and prayer that we guide this process the way it ought to be, without any interference whatsoever, so that at the end of the day, whatever comes out, we'll be able to take a firm decision on it and right the wrongs if there is the need.
Well, Dr. Asante, I mean, on this same contract, the minority is raising questions. The minority leader, Dr. Kasiala Tofosin, says President Akufo-Addo is making efforts to whitewash the Ghana Revenue Authority and then SML's contract. According to him, the Parliament had already begun some investigations into the contract and believes that the President's decision to audit it is stifling their efforts to, unearth whatever contradictions are in this particular contract. Do you agree with him? It seems Dr. Asante's line continues to, break, but we'll be getting back to him.
A little difficulty getting all that you are saying.
Okay, I'll go over that one more time. If you can.
Please,
I can hear you now. I'll go over it one more time. So it seems we will have to get back, Dr. Asah-Asante. We'll get you back on the phone lines, and then we can continue this rather interesting conversation. And like I earlier said, the minority leader, Dr. Cassiel Atoforsin, is questioning the president's timing of an audit into this particular contract between the SML, Strategic Mobilization Limited, and Ghana Revenue Authority. And he's saying that the directive is a day late and a dollar short, and perceives it as a strategy to dissuade Parliament from fully exercising its oversight responsibility over the contentious contract. And in a Facebook post on Tuesday, the Jumako Enyan Esiam lawmaker emphasized the NDC MPs remain vigilant and will not be misled. According to him, he's saying that the former Finance Minister, Dr. Atoforsin, assured Ghanaians of the commitment of NDC MPs to ensuring a thorough investigation into the scandal and holding all those found culpable accountable. And then quoting him, he says, the president who should have led this fight in the wake of this scandal is playing catch-up, since Parliament has also directed GRA to suspend all payments to SML. Let's delve deeper into this, and we now have Dr. Asah-Asante on the phone line. Dr. Asante, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, it's clear.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I was asking you, the minority is questioning the president's timing to auditing this particular contract. And I'm asking if you agree with them or you don't have any problem with this.
Audit is a natural process that anytime there is a need to apply that means of assessing things, we use it and use it appropriately. But what I want to caution is that all the time, what I've seen in this country is that political actors do not want institutions that are meant to address some of these challenges to work. And that is what I will caution the government to make sure that they allow the necessary institutions to take up this challenge and work with the process, so that whatever comes out, all of us will not raise an eyebrow. Once we do that, then we are in the realms of governance. Then we are in the realms of good governance, of course, and then we are also supporting the cause of our constitution, which enjoins us at all times that in matters of this nature, we should ensure probity, we should ensure accountability, and the rest of them. So I believe that, yes, if all that the president has done will ensure that institutions will work, I am for it. But if there is an attempt to undermine the whole process, I'll be the first person to criticize it.
Well, Dr. Asante, I think the bone of contention here is the timing. Do you think the president ordered this too late?
That is why I'm saying that if we allow institutions, and institutions here, Mami, is what I'm talking about, the rules, the procedures, the norms, and all that. In administering any public office, there are rules of the game. When there are problems too, there are rules that are spelled out already, telling us what to do. We need to go by that. Once we go by all these things, we shouldn't have any problem. Remember that such rules are made taking into what consideration timing. So once you go by the rules of the game, you are also comfortable that you are operating within the time frame required by law.
Right. Let's move on to the next story about Nkwanta. Looks like the conflict there is raging. Doesn't look like ending anytime soon. Another person has been shot dead and in the area. At least 12 persons have been killed in the disturbances believed to be linked to land and chieftaincy issues. And the fresh killings comes just days after chairman of the Municipal Security Council, Bright Lenwa, announced plans to tighten security, following what he says is a fresh twist to the conflict. Dr. Asante, I mean, conflicts, land, chieftaincy continues to ravage the situation, the peace in these areas. And what do you make of this? The efforts by our security agencies, especially, to halt some of these things. Are we doing enough to avert some of these crises that erupt?
As for security, I'm sure we go to sleep, we wake up, and we are safe, and we are moving on. It gives you an indication that, yes, in spite of all the challenges that confront us as a people, financial constraints, logistic constraints in the area of logistics and the rest of them, our security have been able to up their game, and they are keeping us all safe. We are happy. Except that we want to say that sometimes they also get it wrong, and I'm not blaming them for anything related to this problem, but I'm talking in general terms. But it's a human institution. When they do wrong, we correct them. When they do right, we applaud them. I believe that they have lived and live up to expectation. We need to strengthen them to do more, and we will not also hesitate to take a swipe on their actions when we think they've gone contrary. If you look at the situation at Nkwanta, you realize that security has helped since time immemorial. I am very familiar with that terrain, and once in a while we get such problems coming up. But the security has always been up and doing, and they've been very helpful in bringing peace at the end of the day. It is my hope and prayer that whatever the conflict is, it will be resolved in no time, and that economic activities, social activities will take on place as it's supposed to be. The place is a natural place for growing of crops and the rest of them. I can tell you that a lot of yam that we consume in this part of the country comes from that place. Apart from yam farming, they have also vegetables and the rest of them. And it's a very attractive area for tourism and the rest of them. It is a place to be, I can assure you. Thank God the NDC government was able to support in the road construction from Huawei to Nkwanta. This government has also added its bit to it. And the last time I drove there from, I think, 2 years ago, I found it very interesting from Huawei to the place. I don't know the situation now from Accra to Huawei. And the time I used it was very terrible. I hope that government will quicken its effort to support the road infrastructure network and then improve it so that people can have a sigh of relief. So that place, in economic terms, in political terms, in social terms, in all terms, is a very important area that we always want to support. So I'll urge the security people to continue to do the good work they are doing. Let us also give them support, and let us also talk to families that in spite of their differences, they can go and sit around a table and jaw instead of war. It is the way to go. There is no problem that can never be solved, because I believe that there is always a way out to any problem. And they have lived as a family for years. So I believe whatever the differences, they can bury their differences and smoke the peace pipe.
You've talked about jawing to ensure some form of stability in the area, but this has been going on for some time. What really do you think is the complexity, that is not allowing these people to come to some form of agreement?
It's a mix of factors. Sometimes you realize that intransigent positions of the the actors involved in the conflict will always create a problem of this nature. Sometimes security problems, sometimes is a whole lot. But I believe that whatever the situation is, we should be able to handle it and handle it well. Once there's a problem, security go there, calm is restored, normalcy is brought back, and all that. It tells you that all needs the effort. We need more effort to sustain that. For security, they will be able to do their work and leave. But when they leave, we should have the mechanism to sustain their effort. And that is basically what is lacking. We should be able to have a roadmap that is lasting enough to address all the challenges, the lingering challenges, and so as to deal with the problem head on. I believe that over the years, if we want to do a good work, we will have a whole ocean of literature on this perennial conflict in that area. So by which time, we should be able to put all together, bring stakeholders together, and then see the way forward. Thank God, this country is blessed with a lot of people with ideas about conflict mediation, conflict solutions, and the rest of them. So we should not sit down and allow the society to burn. We as a society, we owe it to ourselves to make sure that there's peace in that area. The little that we can do, we need to start now. Let's get stakeholders together. Let's get the actors together. Let us find the causes of the conflict and then get into the roots and then deal with the problem once and for all. I'm not sure the problem is that daunting that we cannot handle as a society. All that we need is to be able to apply ourselves to it and then resolve that we are dealing with that problem once and for all. This should be done, and it should be done in no time. The place is too an important area for us to allow it to go in flame.
Right. Now let's move on to graphic online, and we're in the election year. And first of all, let me ask you, what do you feel? What are you picking up in the atmosphere at this point? I know it's a bit early, but let me just ask you, what do you see in the atmosphere now, looking at the campaign tour of former President John Dramani Mahama, Bawumia, Alan Tremanting? At least those are the ones we know for now.
I think the ball started well. This is how it ought to be. But we always caution that much as we want to sell our messages to our people, our message should be devoid of insult. Our messages should bring to the fore issues that help build the society. We should not have messages that are, conflict-ridden, messages that divide our society. And we should be able to accept criticisms. One of the problems we have in this country is that we are quick to respond to criticism, and then sometimes we go overboard. No. In a democracy, we should develop that big belly to accommodate criticism and work within that time frame. Government will have a lot of questions to answer, and government must be sober to reflect on them when we throw it at them. So all these things should be able to work and work well for us. And we should always have at the back of our minds that it is this country we want to build. And if you want to build a country, you don't destroy it first in order to build it. No. And I always believe that the way to go is what? Discussion, dialogue, give and take. Right? It is when you lack ideas, you lack the power of argument, then you shout, you attack, you introduce violence, and the rest of them. I want to urge the Ghanaian society that this election, we are going to look forward to what? Hearing messages of hope, hearing, messages that resonate with our people, hearing messages that deal with our problem. Any other thing that do not support the cause of the ordinary man on the street, we should be able to decipher that, take it out, and those people who are turning out will vote against them. We should not make it a point of glorifying political parties and then all the nonsense, I'm sorry to use that word, associated with what they do. No, in the name of that, this is our party. This is how we have been over the years. This is the one we know. Even if it's not performing, we are prepared to live with that party forever.
Well,
no, We want to assess the situation based on our circumstances of the time, and out of which we make an important decision that will help us.
Well,
and people should not, there are things, people should not take this election to be where they do or die affair. No.
right.
That they want to win power at all times. You will have all your strategy. Of course, nobody goes to election with the hope of losing. But when you lose, you should be able to accept defeat and abide by the rules of the game. That's the spirit behind any democratic enterprise. And these things must be inculcated in people. And I tell you, I'll be part of that team that will want to socialize people along this line so that we can make an informed decision.
Well, let's look at the messages that is being paraded here. Former President John Mahama says although Ghana is going through a crisis, citizens must not give up and on the possibility of improvement, urging that the populace should exercise the franchise, seeking to bring him back to power, and that is going to ensure that hope is not lost, and also saying that he is a second savior for the country, seeking re-election. Does his message inspire hope?
A very beautiful message. Politicians should always give us a message of hope, and he's doing exactly that. Politicians should be able to right the wrongs of society through their messaging and through their strategy and through their manifesto by and large. So I believe that all that he's saying is nothing but the truth. It is our duty to reflect on them and see whether there are things that will support the cause of the ordinary man, to support our families, our people, our country. That is how it should be. So, yes, there's nothing wrong. He's saying that, yes, he's coming to redeem Ghanaians and all that. He should be able to go beyond this and tell us how he's going to work the mathematics of it so as to let us have confidence that he has what it takes to be able to do what he's saying. Once he's able to do this, we as a people will reflect on them and then give a verdict based on that. After all, politics is nothing but a contest of ideas. So this is a time for people to show us, to tell us the ideas that they have under their sleeves. They should be able to bring them out. And then if they have been in government before, or whatever work they've done, they should be able to showcase. And when we demand this, we are not demanding something extraordinary. No, it is within the framework of any campaign activity. So we are going to demand what is due us, and we demand questions for things that have been promised, things that have been done, past records. We are going to scrutinize all that, and it's going to be interesting. So he has also started, and he has started well. We want to see more. MPP will also come in, let them come in with all that they have. We welcome them and see if they are fit for purpose. We will talk about that. If there is something that is not helpful, we will be quick to point it out to them. And I urge all the smaller parties to do the same so that we will approach this election from the point of view of issues, nothing more, nothing less.
Well, Dr. Asante, let me take you to the camp of the NPP. Very late last year, Justin Kodua-Frimpong hinted of a reshuffle and saying that the president, if members of the government couldn't work for government, they should leave their jobs for others who will be willing to work. But before you comment on that, let's take a listen to what he said.
My last question goes to the appointees of this government.
If you were a CEO, deputy, MMC, and you believe you can no longer work for government, resign and let others do the work if you are not included in the reshuffle.
So we a minister, we a CEO, we a deputy, we a MMDC. Now say we reshuffle in the so now what's now Shenwa Bra, Fredumano, Etuo, member party no.
It is time for a change, for others to continue the work. If new people come and work, we will have victory in 2024 election.
Dr. Asante, do you agree there should be a reshuffle?
It's long overdue. We have told this government time and again that there's a need to change the team players, reshuffle, so to speak, and bring more energies to bear on the work of government. Government has been so adamant in this regard. And anytime you talk about it, the government seems to have different ideas, or that the government tells you that they are doing well and that he's waiting for results and other. Where are the results? The things that we said, which were rejected, I'm happy the General Secretary, it has dawned on him. I've said it time and again that, look, if we talk and government will not listen, the realities will dawn on the government one day. And I'm happy we are here, that the realities have dawned on the party to the extent that the General Secretary is now out there, telling the people in government and then the government itself that reshuffle those who are non-performing ministers to leave the office and all that. That is all governance is about. Governance is how you make economic and political resources better for a meaningful life for human beings. So we should put you in a position. We are not putting you there for beauty contest, that the standard is different from what we are talking about. We are talking about what? A standard that should be able to bring us the results that we need to make life better for the ordinary man. If you are not fit for that purpose, I'm afraid you are in the wrong job. Leave it and go. If you, as an individual, you don't have the capacity to leave office on your own accord, the government should force you out. After all, it's the government that appointed you. And it's the government that will disappoint you at any time too. And he has no right to, he has a right to either explain to you what he has sacked you or not. So I was wondering why it's taking the government so long a time to realize this simple governance procedure. But better late than never. If ministers believe that they are not living up to expectation, it is in their own interest to leave office. Because in politics, the more you stay and you don't perform, you become a non-performing minister. Your name will go into the annals of the country forever and ever. And I'm not sure any human being, worth his or herself, will want to have such a record. So they have to do the needful by leaving office those individuals who are not performing. And if they are not, the government also should show them the way, so that government can salvage its image, government can improve its lot, and government can deliver on its own promises. If government is able to do that, it will have a sigh of relief and will be able to also get back some of the things it has lost through non-performance and the rest of them. So it's a good call, but it is not enough. They should, impress it on government for government to do the needful so that those who need to be changed are changed for results. After all, politics is a contest of ideas and a referendum of your work. At the end of the day, you have to showcase what you have done, giving all the resources we have given to them. The day of accountability is here, and it's 2024.
Dr. Asante, in your opinion, which areas should experience a shake-up?
If you look at what we are seeing now, the economy needs serious improvement. Yes, so you have to make sure that you improve the economic fortunes of this country. Sometimes when we talk about reshuffle, it's not necessarily, taking people out of office, but you move them to other positions where you think they can perform better. That is another. Reshuffle also entails that. So it's like musical chairs. Sometimes you move them to other places where you think they have their energies their energies will be applied and applied well. Sometimes you realize that it's beyond repairs and that person must be jettisoned out of the process. You do that. We need to improve the unemployment situation in this country. We need to be able to up our game in the area of health sector. You and I are alive to the problems that confront this country in the area of health. In recent time, we have seen upsurge of kidney problems and the rest of them. In government, you saw what happened in Kolebu, the renal section, and the rest of them. We have a lot of health issues that we need to spend resources. We need people to reflect and work on that. We need to also make sure that the gains we have made in education will strengthen. Where there are weaknesses, the free SHS system, a good idea and all that. But is it working? If it's working, how much has it contributed to our development and all that? What is left to be done, ought to be done to bring that program to a normal fruition and the rest of that. So all the ministries, we can do proper assessment and see where government says he has all manner of information. You look at it and then you see, they'll be able to see which area is not performing. If you find that and you realize that you cannot put the person to another ministry because you believe that he has the expertise to be able to change things there, you throw the person out. Simple. And that you owe that person no apology. After all, you brought the person in to come and help to build the society. If he's not able to, promote this agenda, what is the point of keeping that person? Government must be bold and be able to take very important decisions. And that brings me to a book that was written by Madeleine Albright. If you read the forward, and there's something that President Clinton wrote about it, that in politics, you should shy away from stepping on people's toes. In other words, step on toes, provided you are doing the right thing, and fear not. If you are afraid of stepping on toes, I'm afraid you are not in the realm of governance. You are in merry-making, and you are not doing anything. That book should serve as a guiding principle for this government to be able to take the necessary decisions.
Well, so Dr. Asante, if I understand you correctly, you are delving into health, education, and the economy, right?
No, I'm saying that I don't have the data that will be able to point that this area is not working. But there's some of them on top of our head. You realize that there is a problem with this economy. There's no doubt about that. There is a problem with health. There's no doubt about that. There are other ministries that there are problems. And I'm saying that it is not necessarily the case that you have to throw a minister out. No.
Right.
But you can put the minister into another ministry where you believe that he can his expertise and his ideas and all that can be put into useful adventure there and help lift up the game there. There are some places you realize that this person has been a monumental failure for the work that you are doing. You throw the person up and all that. There are places you realize that let me also bring others to come and support the minister to work in this regard. I am saying this because if you look at the things that voters consider, apart from we as a people, all that we need for ourselves, the things voters consider in making decisions at the poll, one of it is the first one is the economy. So if there are problems with the economy and you want to turn a blind eye to this, I am afraid you are going to have your fingers bent. So you need to work, because when the economy improves, it robs off all the other sectors. All right. So it is the first and foremost consideration you want to pay attention to, and then do the needful there. Strengthen the place, support the place, make sure that whoever is leading the place is giving what you expect of him. If he is not, and you think there is a need to change the person, do. If you think that he is doing well, maintain him, support him, and let it work.
Right.
So it's with the other ministries and all that. But I'm saying that reshuffle does not necessarily mean that throwing a minister out. You can also reassign him a different ministry. You can also make sure that you bring him, you demote some ministers. It's part of reshuffle.
Right.
You bring him from ministerial position to deputy ministerial position for him. If he is comfortable with that, he continues and all that. Do all that, because at the end of the day, you need results.
Okay. Grateful for your time here, Dr. Kwame Asante. We are thankful for making time for us this morning on the AM show. We wish you all the best for the rest of the day. And we'll be delving deeper into this conversation. Already we are getting comments on X, formerly Twitter. We'll read a few of them. This one says from Christopher Clove. It says, who is more tired than Oga? I beg, be courageous enough to tell Oga in the face. Also ask the appointees to reduce their corrupt practices instead of talking about tiredness. Fatigue and corruption are two different things. Focus, bro, you have nothing to say. Well, from Todia Rock, he says, the entire cabinet except Hawa Kumsen. And Neo Sule says, they are all sensing a change. We'll take one more, says, resign while you can, sack him or her. Do you guys reason? You appointed someone, and if you think he or she is sabotaging you, why don't you sack him? And this from Augustine Kwekuboni Arthur. And this, I'm finding it difficult to mention this name, but this person says JFK. So, well, those are some of your comments on X, formerly Twitter. We'll be bringing you more of these comments and also touching base with our correspondents in Kumasi and here in Accra on what people think as well. Right now, we'll bring you sports, after which we'll delve into other conversations.